by what seemed innocent means.
The Unknown War will be back after this. The Partisans.
Often the youngest were the ones most accustomed to reading. They were listened to with interest. And often it was the youngest who were the quickest observers. If they were caught, their age made no difference. For the Partisans, the little ones were heroes too. There were no comforts. Milk was a luxury. Bread was a treat. They didn't know what it was to have a full belly, but they knew they were loved. Occupied Polotsk, site of an orphanage. The Germans had a plan for Polotsk. Word of it came to the Partisans and they acted at once. The German idea was to send the orphans to an experimental laboratory for use as human guinea pigs. The Partisans evacuated the children far to the rear by the fastest means available. Teacher, Valentina Ivanovna, still tells the story today.
Только мы сели в самолет, поднялись. Значит, слышим.
Just as we boarded the plane and took off, we heard shooting. I couldn't tell how long we'd been in the air, but suddenly we landed with a thud and bumped along the ground. There were 9 of us. One of the older boys, Volodya Shishkov, just about your age, jumped up and began shouting, "Valentina Ivanovna, our plane is on fire." We began rescuing the children, and when some of them got out, their clothes caught on fire. I remember well how one boy's coat caught fire. It was such an old and ragged coat. And the same thing happened to a little girl. We pulled them all out and began to help the wounded partisans we had with us. When we dragged them a distance from the plane, the gas tank blew up and the whole plane caught fire. Then we wondered where the pilot was. We started looking for him. About 30 yards from the plane, we saw him. Sasha Mamkin, terribly burned all over. Mamkin's hands were burned. His face was all burned. And he was dead. But we were alive. No, we'll never forget that pilot Mamkin. Whenever I remember him, I get upset.
Но летчика Мамкина никогда в жизни не забудем.
Valentina Ivanovna's orphans were lucky. Vladimir Shubin works at a plant in Minsk. Anna Shevnova is a nurse. Anatoly Ladko is a locomotive repairman. Margarita Yetsunova went back to Polotsk, but not to the orphanage. Simon Korzhakov is chief technical officer aboard a refrigerator ship. In late 1942 and early 1943, much of European Russia was occupied by the Germans, over 6 million of them. But the Partisans were everywhere, in every republic, in every region, hundreds of thousands of them. Soviet High Command set up a central headquarters for the partisan movement. It was headed by Panteleimon Ponomarenko, a communist leader from Belarusia. Ponomarenko coordinated partisan strategy and tactics, liaised with the Red Army, and delivered weapons, medicines, ammunition, explosives, doctors, food, sabotage experts. In 1942, the Germans had to employ 15 field divisions, 10 security divisions, 27 police regiments, 144 police battalions in their efforts to handle the partisans. 2 years later, 10% of all the Axis troops on the Eastern Front had been drawn into the partisan war. Ponomarenko claimed that by July of 1943, the partisans had killed 300,000 Germans, 30 of them generals. They had destroyed over 3,000 bridges, over 1,000 tanks, nearly 500 aircraft, nearly 400 cannon, and 4,000 trucks.
The unknown war will continue in a moment. The Partisans.
Germans entered the forest with caution. From time to time, they mounted expeditions to comb the woods. The outcome was usually the same. The partisans would fight, inflict casualties, and then slip away. Frustrated, the German SS burned neighboring farmsteads and the innocent old men, women, and children inside. It was enough merely to be suspected of being a partisan. German High Command ordered the most extreme measures. To them, the lives of Russians had no value. Only unusual cruelty could terrorize the population. The means of execution, the Germans believed, should further the terrorizing effect. In all, the Germans killed over 4 million people in the Ukraine alone. In Belarusia, 2.25 million people. And 209 cities and 9,000 villages burned to the ground. Traitors, collaborators.